What's up, guys and gals? This is your host, the Chris Donaldson here, and welcome to the Chris Donaldson Project. We've got some unfinished business to discuss, and today I've got an exciting and interesting episode for you that I really hope that you guys enjoy. So this was a test of an audio-only type of thing. In other words, before I had professional equipment and before all of these things, I wanted to see what a podcast would sort of flow like and feel like. And so on this one, I explained 3 lessons, or really the 3 sticky notes that my dad used to stick on the mirror and everywhere he could when I was growing up. Just 3 lessons. And there was a lot of positive feedback. I think it helped share with you guys. I think a lot of you could identify with it. So let me know what you think about this, because in this episode, we're just dropping this in. It's something that I did on my own, and hopefully you'll learn from the 3 lessons, because to this day, they're still in all of our employee contracts. So enjoy. What I wanted to do with you guys this week is share a little story with you and talk about something that's on my mind as we're getting into the spring and summer selling season, the busy season where we really tend to make our hay here in the real estate business, where you guys should be out there just killing it. And so the story that comes to mind is where I had one of those moments where you're in the car, and if you're familiar with our market down here in South Louisiana, I joke all the time. It seems like every market, so like every major city, is about an hour apart from each other. So anytime you're going to leave like from home base here in New Orleans and go somewhere else, I'm probably going to be in the car for at least an hour, and it's probably going to be over a bridge over water. And so for those of you out there, especially if you've got kids and a lot of things going on, man, that's the good time for me, where I can think, where I can kind of get some good thoughts going without interruption. Sometimes I'll be listening to an audiobook, sometimes music, you know how you guys do. Well, the other day, as I was driving in the car, something just popped into my head as I was thinking about the second quarter, the third quarter, the rest of the year here at our companies, and I wanted to share it with you. I tweeted it out the other day, I put it on Instagram, and I thought it important to expand on it a little bit, or expand on it a lot, because something that I discuss internally, both with myself, with my family, in my relationships, with our team, with our employees, with our companies, with our sales students, with all of these folks around here. But as I'm looking back, and I'm super proud of what we've done here at Office Hours, and hopefully you guys are getting a lot of value out of it, because literally, if you've been here from the beginning, this is completely centered around you. I do this because I want to help you once you get out of school, once you pass the test, once you've got your license, outside of continuing ed. I want to see you guys get out of your business, out of your real estate career, what you want. Well, it's something that we talk about a lot, and that I don't think I've shared enough with you guys, is one of the principal pillars, one of the most important things that's going to lead to your success in real estate and really 360, and that is the principles and the foundations of you as a human being. Now, before you press stop, before you say, oh gosh, here we go, I haven't talked about this too much because you guys want the tactics. You always want to know, well, what do I do on Zillow or Nextdoor or Realtor.com or on Facebook with my websites, and how do I generate leads? I get that, guys. I get that. But let me share a little story with you that just literally popped into my head while I was driving. And it was a story from when I was in high school. And it just, one of those random things, who knows what the visual trigger may have been, why this popped in my head, you know, my mind was just floating around. And so for me, it was about this conversation and then the result of it that I had with my dad when I was probably, 15, maybe 16, but probably not, maybe even 14. Now, I come from a divorced family. My parents divorced when I was very young. So typically, anytime I talk about, parental discussions, it's going to be mano y mano with dad or mano y mana with mom, right? It's going to be one-on-one and the impact that they had on me. Well, in this particular case, I remember that I was sitting in the living room at my dad's house. It was at night during the summer. And I really can't remember what I was upset about, but I remember I was basically crying dad a river. One of those teenager, father, son, I'm upset and I don't really know what to do about it yet because this may be the first time I've, faced this kind of adversity. I think it was either a golf tournament disappointment or a girl disappointment. Maybe the girl that I was dating broke up with me or it didn't work out or she wouldn't go out with me. Teenager problems, they're always this huge deal. And whatever it was, I remember sitting in the living room and, probably Sports Center was on the TV and dad just sitting there listening to me. And he's the kind of person that will sometimes give advice, but also sometimes may just be like, yeah, I understand, almost like get over it. And I remember still being unsettled when I went to bed. And the next morning when I got up, I went into the bathroom and stuck to the bathroom mirror were 3 of those yellow sticky notes, 1, 2, 3, in a column on the side of the mirror. And each of them had one short and sweet message on it. And it read like this: do your best, tell the truth, and keep your promises. So each sticky note was one of those. Do your best, tell the truth, and keep your promises. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, first of all, where did that come from? And number 2, what did that have to do with what I was upset about? Well, I don't really know. So if you've heard that before, if dad read it in a book or got it from some informational source, look, great. I have no idea. Share with me where that comes from because I'm going to tell you how important that has been and will continue to be to me to this day. And so when I saw that, it forced me to kind of realize a couple of things. And one is, whatever it was that I was upset about, it forced me to face reality that, number 1, did I absolutely do my best? And therefore, I have nothing to be upset about. So as I looked at those sticky notes, I was thinking about, golf or school or the girl or whatever, all these various aspects, because this has carried with me for so long. And the number one thing that if right now we're going into the second quarter, as I mentioned, spring and summer selling season, if you haven't hit your goals, if you haven't done what you wanted, if you're missing on something real estate-wise, the first thing you got to check with is yourself. And one great way to do that is to check, are you really giving it your all? Are you doing your best? Are you absolutely giving your 100% best effort? Because something about that, the idea, we have a phrase we use around here. You'll see me wearing the armband that effort always wins. Because at the end of the day, let's say that it was a golf tournament that I was upset about. Because in high school, I was the kid that would do great in practice and get really nervous and maybe not win tournaments like I thought. And one of the most important things was always, did I give it 110%? And if I did, and I didn't succeed, there was nothing to be upset about. But the alternative to that, and probably the most important piece, is that if you absolutely give real estate, sales, achieving your goals, your all, let me tell you, you're going to hit your goals, or you're going to hit something really close to your goals, which is going to be a level of success that maybe you haven't experienced before, whether you're going from 0 to whatever you consider as a success, whether you're successful now to that next level. Listen, you got to check with yourself. And the first, and I keep with it to this day, is, did I do my best? So do your best. And then number 2, tell the truth. Now, yeah, it may seem obvious, it may seem easy, but let me tell you, in this day and age where you guys are listening to this or watching the video version of this on social media and everything that's out there, there's a real problem with TV and fake news and just dishonesty and not being authentic in general. And so way back then, I remember thinking that I was always upset about other people and how they would lie to me. Friends would tell me, oh, we're going to do this, and then, it would fall through. Teenager stuff. I'm thinking all the way back to those sticky notes on the mirror. And I'm always thinking about the fact that, well, I can't affect what other people do, but I can surely affect what I do and how I operate. And so if I'm always authentic and I'm always telling the truth and I'm operating ethically, I'm going to win way more than I'm going to lose. And so the checkup here for you, and something I want to share with you, is that, look, are you truly being honest with yourself? Are you being honest with others? Are you truly treating your clients, treating your business, treating your family? Are you doing all of that truthfully, authentically, or are you putting on a mask and trying to be something that you're not? In other words, when you're checking up and you're looking at your second quarter, at your goals, at your business, let's be honest. The tell the truth part, the honesty part, the authenticity part is massive there. Because what I always say in our companies, we'll have a staff meeting this week where I'm going to beat the drum on this, is that we're always going to treat you, the marketplace, the consumer, the customer, the right way. We are going to be honest. We are going to follow the rules. We're going to do everything the right way. And that is how we are going to win. So just understand that if we were to lose, which we're not, but if we were to lose, but did everything the right way and gave it 110%, so do your best, well, then I will sleep just fine because I'll know I gave it everything I could and I didn't compromise my honesty, my ethics, and my authenticity. And then let's talk about that third sticky note. Keep your promises. And this is the one where you really have to look in that mirror and talk to yourself a little bit. And that is, did you do what you said you were going to do? Because here we are. Time is flying. Beginning of May. We're getting into the second quarter. The third quarter will be here before you know it in business terms. We are way past if you had a New Year's resolution. How many people are still sticking with their New Year's resolutions here in the beginning of May for this year? Most people don't make it a couple of weeks. It's not keeping a promise to yourself. Well, number one, I don't really get into the New Year's resolutions because I can hit the brakes, stop, and turn something around right now as soon as I become aware of it. So when it comes to keeping your promises, first, that starts with to yourself. Are you doing the things that you said you were going to do? This starts with at our real estate school, Donaldson Real Estate School, when somebody's preparing to go and take their license exam. I know for many of you, that experience is different. For some people, it may be a relatively easy ride. For others, it takes a lot of studying and a lot of work. But the biggest thing there is that when you're looking back, have you really done what you said you were going to do at this point? In other words, have you studied like you said you were? Did you keep your promise to yourself? Did you go take the test when you said you would? Are we keeping things in a compressed time frame and all of those sorts of things? But also, are we keeping our promises to the marketplace? Are we keeping our business plan? Are we keeping our promises to ourselves on what we're going to do? If we said we were going to send this many emails per week or per month, did we do that? If we said that we were going to record this many episodes of office hours for you, did we do that? So I want you guys to understand that what I'm talking about here is at the end of the day, what I want you to do is remember that you don't want to take chaos from one part of your life and bring it into another because those lines are blurrier than you think. So you can't say, oh, I do everything honest in the business world, but I cheat on the golf course. Let me tell you guys something. If somebody cheats on the golf course playing against me, that is one of the number one ways that I am going to be aware now that if that person will cheat against me for whatever we're playing for, $1, that you don't think they'll cheat me out of $1 million? You can't say, oh, I'll do it in this arena, but I won't do it in that one. You can't say, I'm going to give it my all and in the business world and not give it all in my family, in my relationships, in my friendships, and then keeping your promises. And that's why we talk about a lot of times, if you're not setting goals, you got to start now. Don't wait till May 1st, June 1st, January 1st. Now's a good time. So if you're not getting out of your real estate business what you want, let's write down what it is that you want. How many transactions? How much money? What do you need to do? Be very specific about it. And if you're hitting those goals, let's reset them. Crumple it up, throw it away, set them a little bit higher, right? And if you're hitting goals and everything's right in stride, I would argue you've probably got your foundational principles in order. So just to show you how something small can lead to something big, a few years back, we had a really difficult culture shift, if you will, or culture clarity here at Donaldson Companies. And what we did was we created what we called the Donaldson core values, the Donaldson DNA, or really the Big Seven, as we talk about them. And the Big Seven are principles that I will uphold first as the leader, the company will uphold to the marketplace, and anyone that works here in any capacity will hold these as well. And so what that started with for me was the exercise of how do I figure out what the core values of these companies are going to be? It's about more than just me. But if I'm going to be leading this effort, it starts with me. And I didn't want to be one of these faceless corporate entities with these values and mission statements that sounded made up and all this. We weren't a big enough company at the time to be acting that way, and I never want to act that way. I want to be honest to the marketplace and authentic. So that meant that when we're setting up our core values, our principles, our foundation, then it better be real. So it took me a while to come up with these. But what I want you to know is as I'm looking at them, and I know this is an audio form, so I'm looking at them in front of me, what's interesting is how many of these tie back to those 3 sticky note things: that do your best, keep your promises, tell your truth. Because, for instance, one of our core values is effort. I mean, hashtag effort always wins. We're always going to give 110%. We are never going to be let down by a lack of effort. Literally, here and everywhere, laziness is not tolerated because laziness results in a bunch of bad things. Putting in the effort results in good things. I'm just thinking back, I'm like, man, that's do your best. I didn't even realize it. And then authenticity is one of our core 7. Authenticity. I mean, tell the truth. I didn't even realize it at the time, but it's a battle flag that we've put in the ground forever, and that we are always going to be an honest, ethical, and customer-centered company, and we are not going to lie, cheat, and steal to get ahead. We have had plenty of competitors that have come and gone, some that will be gone, that are unethical and lie to you, the customer. Don't worry about me. They're going to lie to me. But to you, they steal from you. They do not deliver value. And it drives me crazy. We are never going to do that. So authenticity is one of our core values. There's tell the truth. And then honesty. It's right there. So keeping our promises. I mean, care. Doing your best. When I'm looking at these core values, I guess what I wanted to share with you guys this week is that it comes down to if you just have your personal house in order, it's going to affect positively every other house. And don't think that they are not interconnected. You can't lie, cheat, and steal in business and think you're not going to take that home. And you can't lie, cheat, and steal at home and not think that you're going to take that into your business. And you can't not give the effort and think that you're going to achieve your goals. These things are crucial. They're essential. So I just wanted to share with you that little story about the sticky notes and how, ironically, we don't use those in our company because we're in the digital generation and they get everywhere, right? So like you got a post-it note over here, the sticky note, and like all of this stuff and, messages. So we actually don't allow them for internal communication because they can get lost. However, those three have really shaped a lot of how we shape our organizations, how I shape myself, and hopefully you guys that have been watching and paying attention to office hours have seen a little bit of this in what we're doing here with the show. Because at the end of the day, I'm always going to give you the best that we've got. I am going to work harder to keep our promises that we make to you. And we will always tell the truth and quote unquote, keep it real. So the last thing that I'll mention, guys, if you want to make sure that you don't miss anything, please make sure to share the podcast. Make sure you leave us a review on iTunes. Make sure that you subscribe to the email list. Everything that you want to do, you can find on thechrisdonaldson.com/project. So everything I just described, you can access at thechrisdonaldson.com/project. Because remember, there are many Chris Donaldsons across the web, but there's only one, the Chris Donaldson. We'll see you next time on the Chris Donaldson Project. What's up there, podcast audience or my project listeners? It's the Chris Donaldson here. Thank you for listening to another episode all the way through of the Chris Donaldson Project. This is truly a passion project for me, and I hope it's helping you guys out. So again, as your call to action, make sure that you are joining the email list and you're getting involved in the community. It's not about spamming you. It's about developing relationships one by one, me and you, as we grow this project. You want to get in early before it gets crazy. So again, all you've got to do is text project to the number 444-999. Again, text project to 444-999. Join the email list, and I will see you guys on the next episode of the project.